You're listening to the Flex Success podcast, where we teach you how to be less shit.
I'm your co-host Lizzy, and this is Dean. We'll be covering all topics relating to health, fitness, and bodybuilding.
Join us as we use our in the trenches experience and up-to-date science to provide you with information that you can actually use.
If you like what we do, be sure to give us a like, follow, share, and tag us on social media. The intro to our previous podcast said that our next one, meaning this one, will be coming to you from Morocco. And where are we, Dean?
Salam, Morocco.
Salam, Morocco. Dean said, hello, Morocco. Yeah. Salam is short for what?
Oh, man.
Go on.
Salim alaikum.
We've been learning some Arabic words.
It could be Salim alaikum, so I'm not sure
with
if
an N instead of an M.
I think it's N.
I don't know.
No, M.
We've also learned shukran, which is thank you.
Thank you.
What else have we learned?
Oh, you know how to say sorry. I don't.
Sorry.
Yeah. It
oh,
was like it had a
smachli or something.
Smachli. That's it.
And I learned how to say you're welcome, which is saha.
Saha.
I think people have been saying that to me in the context of what I think they would.
It was like the Spanish equivalent of donada.
Yeah.
Like no worries.
So that's really all I've learned. So as well as speaking Arabic here, most people speak French as well.
Mm-hmm. I think did we read 30% French?
33%. I don't know.
French.
A lot. A lot of the signs are in French. Like pretty much all the cafe names are all in French. Yeah. There's French patisseries everywhere. It's very French.
Yeah, boulangerie.
Yeah, I don't know.
Is that how you say it?
Petite something.
And there's also a tiny bit of Spanish here as well.
I'd say a fair amount because Spain. So we're in Tangier, which is right at the north of Morocco, of Africa, and across the water, Spain is so close you can actually see Spain. So there's lots of Spanish tourists that come here, hence why they speak so much Spanish.
Everybody is assuming Liz is Spanish and keeps saying hola.
Yeah. Hola, chica.
Yeah, so it's an interesting place. It's not very African for a place that is in Africa.
I've seen maybe 3-4 black people.
Yeah. And they speak Arabic, French, and Spanish.
So. Not what I imagined Africa to be. Yeah. It doesn't feel like it. What does it feel more like to you from the countries we've been to?
Out of all the countries we've been, Turkey.
Yeah.
It is Arabic, I suppose, in its look, its feel, its food, its costs.
It feels like the Middle East.
It's homeless dogs, it's homeless cats.
The dudes wear Aladdin hats here.
Yeah. But very good food here so far.
Actually amazing.
Great cheap food.
And yeah.
But also very good restaurant food. Like you can get a very, very good restaurant meal, 2 mains. You don't need to buy entrees or appetizers because they give you free bread and olives here. All legends. Yeah. Last night we spent 30 Australian dollars, 15 pounds.
So what we're getting is something called a tagine here. So a tagine is actually the name of the dish. It's like a terracotta, like flattish bowl.
Yep.
And then it's got like a pointy
teepee top,
a teepee lid on top, also made out of the same. And it's usually like painted with patterns and stuff. That's called a tagine. And the food that goes inside it is also called a tagine, like a paella. The pan that a paella is cooked in is called a paella. And usually it's some sort of meat. So we're getting like slow cooked lamb or beef or chicken or something like that. And then it's just surrounded with like either dried fruits, meat and prunes. Yep. I didn't know how much I loved it until now. Or vegetables like potatoes and carrots and marrows and onion. It's really good food.
And a random fruit that was a vegetable last night that we don't know what it was called, but it was delicious also. It was kind of pear-like.
We asked the guy at the restaurant, we saved a little piece and we're like, hey, what is this? And he didn't speak much English, but on his phone, he got out like a video of someone preparing it.
Yeah,
what is the name?
Yeah. And it was in Arabic, so we couldn't tell. But it was pear-like. It kind of looked a bit guava-y in consistency, but it wasn't pink.
It was like peary.
And it was very much more like a pear.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah. Anyways, love the food here. Morocco is great. Wouldn't live here. But for the 2 weeks...
Great gyms.
I can't believe how amazing the gyms are.
We're training at a very good gym that is just around the corner called the Medina Gym. But then there's another one inside the Medina, which also looks good.
Oh, the Medina, for those who don't know what that is like the old town. There's no cars. The footpaths are really narrow and it's just full of markets.
And then we walked past another gym yesterday that looked very good too.
Hercules Gym, and then there was the other one.
Yeah, near our favourite eatery called Bashir.
Fun fact about the gym. So I have never felt more intimidated or harassed by men in my life anywhere more than Morocco. It is like
on the streets.
On the streets. It is not fun to be a woman here walking by yourself. And when I went to the gym, I was like, oh, this is going to be so fun, great. But maybe I'll just blend in with the other women there. Turns out I'm the first woman to ever train at the gym. There is only men's locker rooms, and there's one toilet right at the back of the men's locker rooms that all the men share.
The men's locker room that is open on the gym floor.
Yeah, so they don't close the doors to the locker room. Like everyone training in the gym can see in men walking in and out of the shower. So I feel uncomfortable because I feel like I'm making the men uncomfortable that are getting changed and stuff. So if I'm busting, I've been told I'm allowed to use the toilet there. I don't. I was squatting the other day with a very full bladder, but I'm not allowed to shower. So in no way, shape, or form am I fitting in. And am I like blending in the gym?
Yeah, my expectation is that this is actually traditionally a men's only gym because they do exist here.
Yeah.
And there are gyms that you can go to with your partner. But I think because it's bodybuilding and because of what we look like, they were like, yeah, fuck it, you can come.
I don't know. When we went to join up and I was like, hi, can I like play as well? He was like, I guess. It's like no one had ever asked the question.
And then he said, the showers, and he's like, you can shower early in the morning.
When no one's here.
But anyway, yeah. But you were saying you feel harassed on the streets. However,
in the gym, totally different experience. I don't feel stared at. Nobody's come to talk to me. I don't know if it's because like they're being respectful of me and that's why they're not like people have asked questions of me through Dean, like they're not to talk to me or something. But I take that more of a sign of respect than disrespect. So in the gym, it's just, been a vastly different experience. Men have like come up to me with equipment that they think I might like to use. And I'm like, so
they've
cute.
Brought you dumbbells to match when you've used like different branded dumbbells. They've loaded bars for you when you haven't asked them to load bars.
No. So I really like training here, and I feel like the gym has kind of saved my impression of Moroccan men.
But a white man in Morocco with muscle is good for your confidence. You're going to be a little bit worshipped here. Actually, one of the guys from the gym sent me a message on WhatsApp, on Instagram, and just said, "Welcome, this is my gym. You are the hero."
That's right.
You are the hero. Yeah.
Oh.
Maybe a slight translation issue, but I'm going to roll.
No one's ever called me a hero.
Yep. So,
I feel sad. That is hilarious.
Pretty good. Yesterday when I trained legs, I did notice there was a lot of people weirdly staring at my veiny quads.
You do have excellent legs.
So I was like, yes, these are veins, and yes, I am white.
I remember when Dean and I, when we were like just friends, kind of, but I had the hots for you. We went to a dog beach. Our dog Ruben, may he rest in peace. And Dean, the white man, wanted some sunscreen, and I was like, "Oh, let me sunscreen your legs." And I did more than just put sunscreen on his legs. I remember like sexually massaging them, being like, "Liz, get your hands off this man! Like you're being so inappropriate." But I was like, "Oh, these legs are so good." I'm like rubbing this. Do you remember?
Yeah, you pretty much exfoliated me with sand. And it was.
Are you joking? Do you remember this?
Yeah, the weirdest thing was when you kept drooling on the back of my neck.
Shut up.
Anyway,
that last part didn't happen. But why are we here to talk about Dean's veiny legs or my sexual attraction to your legs? What we are here to talk about is.
I'm lost.
Okay.
No, we're here to talk about potentially resetting your goals over the Christmas social period, or at least considering your goals and the expectations of said goals over this festive season.
Why?
Because you don't want to fuck it up. No. Because too many people go into the Christmas period and social period thinking that the current goals that they may have, whether that be like fat loss or weight maintenance, or maybe even muscle gain, depending on what phase you're in, they expect it to still be achievable to the same level as what it is now.
Like the same rate of progress.
Yeah, throughout Christmas, despite the fact that their environment is potentially or vastly going to change.
Yeah, people are on holidays or they've got lots of parties, tons of social events.
Yeah, less likely going to be talking to individuals, I think, on a muscle gain phase because it is, typically going to be an environment that affords you the opportunity for a calorie surplus, which is pro muscle gain. But
it's not that hard to maintain training over the Christmas period, right? Like it takes an hour and a half. Something like that.
It's very unlikely that you would miss. Maybe you might go from doing 5 sessions a week to 4 sessions a week for a 2 to 4 week period. But I would argue that you can still grow significant amounts of muscle doing that. So probably less to do with
you're just taking a 1 week holiday where you're not training.
Yeah, you're gonna sort your deload out so that it's when you're going away with family and friends, whatever it may be. You can probably still gain muscle very effectively in this phase. Unless, of course, you're a party animal and you just booze up all the time, that's probably going to affect it. So
you're probably a shit bodybuilder.
Yeah, you're probably not that good.
No. So that's why we're probably talking to people with goals of fat loss, and we're not talking to people with goals of muscle gain, because it's easier to continue muscle gain over Christmas than it is to continue
fat loss. Yeah. And that is where most people come unstuck and are disappointed come January with their efforts. But should they be?
Should they be?
Or
Well,
why are they disappointed is probably the question.
Ambivalence. Well, okay. When people have goals of maintaining the same rate of progress through a really social period where they want to drink a bit of alcohol or eat out more often or just eat more because food is delicious, let's be honest, and they haven't reassessed whether that goal is still achievable, they end up on the other side of the holiday season or the Christmas season, whatever, really disappointed in themselves, feeling like they failed and they didn't really enjoy the Christmas season because every time they went to a social event and ate or drank, they felt guilty. And so neither are achieved. They didn't enjoy themselves really as much as they could have. And they feel disappointed that they didn't reach their targets. They feel like a failure. And so we might want to do something called agenda mapping, which is where we map out the agenda, very creative name, where we acknowledge that we have two conflicting goals. One of it is, pretty good rate of progress for weight loss, and the other one is
social butterfly.
The exact social butterfly. Do they conflict? Yes, probably. So let's map that out right now in the month of December, maybe the first couple of weeks of January too. I don't know. My priority is to enjoy myself. That doesn't necessarily mean unlimited weight gain, 10 kilos a week for 3 weeks in a row. It could mean weight maintenance. It could mean allowing yourself a buffer of 1 to 5 kilos. I don't know, whatever's right for you. And then once that holiday season is over, then get back to the other priority, which is continuing the remainder of your weight loss goal.
And this is the thing too, like if you reassign a new goal that is likely more achievable, then when you get to the end of it, you end the social period having said, I had a great time, I achieved everything I wanted to, now let's just get back to it, versus I failed, now I need to punish myself further. So not only did you not really enjoy the social situations, you also failed at what your perceived goal was, and now you feel shit about yourself come the new year. So you're far better off trying to, figure out what your best case scenario is than trying to be perfect and coming out the other end successful than you are trying to be perfect and you come out of the other end having failed in your own eyes.
Yeah, I also don't really understand what the huge rush is. Unless you've got a bodybuilding competition coming up, weeks after Christmas, or I don't know, you have a really stable end date to the fat loss goal, like your wedding or something like that. What is the rush? Why not press pause and go weight maintenance for a few weeks? Like, you're going to be alive for I don't know how many more weeks. What is 2 or 3?
But a Christmas ham only exists on Christmas Day.
I know cookies are only around at Christmas.
No, so the point is obviously that people need to at least first sit down and say, who am I and what are my goals? And what goal,
who are you and who is your daddy?
Yeah.
What's that?
No, who is your daddy? What does he do?
That's it.
Can't believe I got a better movie quote than you.
Damn it. That's the first time I found a movie quote.
Remember Arnold said that on the Australian stage to the bikini competitor, the one? He turned and went, so question, who is your daddy? What does he do? And everyone was just like, yeah.
That was really funny.
And then she replied to the training question.
He asked her, what days of the week do you train?
How often do you train a week? She's like, only days ending in Y. I'm pretty sure that's how she sounded too.
That's exactly how she sounded.
And everybody got up and left.
Everyone booed her.
We all went to the Formula One.
We all quit bodybuilding.
Yeah, fuck it. We're going to become race car drivers. So who are you and what is your goal?
Right, appropriate goal setting.
Because if you're a competitive bodybuilder who is competing in season A of 2024, it means that around Christmas time, you're going to be about 15, 14, 13 weeks out.
Right, you're going to be starting a pretty restrictive diet.
You're likely either at the very beginning or the middle of a fat loss phase. With that comes with it a level of restriction that is going to be far greater than somebody who is just a fitness enthusiast looking to lose some weight over the period of time and then hopefully sustain that. If it's a long-term goal, for example, of weight maintenance at a new weight.
I mean, most people who aren't bodybuilders looking to lose weight are looking to maintain the weight lost. So, yeah, for sure.
So if you're a competitive bodybuilder
in a fat loss phase,
should you have some freedom to enjoy Christmas, a Christmas lunch, and or a Christmas dinner? Absolutely.
But it doesn't have to be a Christmas December.
No. I can tell you right now that all of my clients will have some level of freedom and flexibility over Christmas that is suitable to them and their goals and their preferences. and not one of them won't have it. And if they don't have any, it's because they choose it.
Right, but you're talking about clients that are in comp prep in a
People
fat
will
loss
be
phase.
12 to 14 weeks out.
Right, yeah. Like I don't have a close family, so maybe I'm talking out of turn here, but I don't, sucks to be you. I don't really see why people feel like they need to go to these family events and gorge themselves. Like, I get it, your auntie makes the best potato bake, your mum makes the best Christmas ham, your uncle makes the best brownies. Like, can you not just like try a bit of the brownie after lunch? And most of the lunch is a delicious, like, your salad, a bit of ham, and then you try, a sensible portion of the potato bake. Why do you have to eat a mountain of potato bake, a mountain of the brownies? Like, do you really enjoy yourself doing that, or do you leave feeling sick and a bit regretful? Is Christmas about that, or is Christmas about like enjoying a bit of food and definitely being with your family and friends?
I was waiting for you to emotionally just appear to people say, like, is it just about the food or is it about the family? Like, I don't have, like, think about this next time you're eating that brownie. I won't even be eating it with my own mother.
I don't even have a family. I'm estranged.
A brownie on your own isn't as exciting as it is that it is with your loved ones.
Maybe I should cry to get the point across. Just know that I have cried about this in private.
No, but it's true. I would almost always say that in the moment of eating these foods, you feel like it's the greatest thing ever. But almost always, for a period, like there's a period, for almost always at the end of it, you're like, like the next day comes, you're like, I don't really remember yesterday. Like the happiness from it, my point is super fleeting.
Alegre. We learned that word in Spanish just yesterday. Fleeting happiness.
Fleeting happiness, yeah.
There's a word in Spanish for it.
Allegra.
Allegra, is it?
Yeah. We know somebody last name Allegre, unless we're going to mix up. But yeah, it's fleeting happiness that happens very short, and I would say isn't actually it's not as exciting as what you think it is.
Like you've built it up in your mind, and when it's over, it's like, was it really worth it?
I'm going to draw a weird parallel here because I said this to our friend Joppo in Milan, and that is that people even build up the enjoyment of foods that are like supposed to be the best in their home country. E.g., if you go to Italy, it's the best pasta,
the best gelato.
Yeah. I can tell you right now, there's great Italians all around the world. There are also great Thai people all around the world. So you can have the best Thai in fucking Morocco if you look deep enough. And people build up this like, oh my God, I had this pizza in, Italy. It was the greatest pizza ever. I'm like, no, the experience was great. Like, the people, the fact that you're in Milan, it's the same as Christmas.
Yeah, that's true.
It's about like, I had the best Christmas lunch because I remember I was sitting on the water with my auntie who I hadn't seen in ages. We were laughing. She snorted so loud everybody heard her. And I also had a bite of her delicious apple pie.
So the food really was just an element.
Even if you think back to it when you were a kid, and you think like, oh, do you remember mac and cheese, like out of a can, the thick cheese that you would have, like Kraft mac and cheese?
Bro, I had a Wog family. We did not have canned mac and cheese.
Okay.
Let me tell you.
Pick any food. I'm like, that shit was delicious. And then you eat it as an adult and you're like, oh, it's pretty bad. But as a kid, I have this memory. And it's nostalgic. It's about the memory, not necessarily about the food itself.
Yeah, that's really true.
So consider your goals was that point.
And so once you know what your goal is, whether you're going to move to weight maintenance or maybe slow down the rate of weight loss, I probably don't think it's a great idea, but it's up to you.
Yeah, you could maybe escalate the rate of loss going into Christmas so that you could start Christmas at a slightly lower weight than you initially did. So if you do gain a little bit, you end up back where you were. You could just move back to maintenance and recognize that there's going to be some weight gain potentially. And if not, doesn't matter if it goes the other way. Talk with your coach or yourself about what you think is acceptable. Life will go on. 2024 will arrive. You can find ways to enjoy yourself without it getting out of hand.
I mean, because there are so many different things you can do and different things are appropriate for different people, we do offer consultation calls. So you can check that out from the link in bio on Instagram or our website, and we can talk you through it. But it's definitely worth mentioning that not everybody has such tight control over their input and output, meaning they don't really understand how many calories they need to take in to lose 1 kilo a week, half a kilo a week, maintain their weight, whatever. And even if they did know, they don't know how much is in food. So a different way to look at it might be something like habits. So if you're trying to speed up the rate of weight loss coming into Christmas so you feel comfortable moving to weight maintenance, it could be something like, I'm only going to enjoy lean protein for 3 or 4 meals a day, plus 200 to 400 grams of vegetables. And I'm only going to have fresh fruit for snacks. And that's all I'm going to eat, maybe a little bit of good fats on the side. So you're just eating your bare minimum. And then weight maintenance might be something like I'm eating 1 meal out a day on top of that. Or I'm adding carbohydrates
to 50% of them or something.
To half of those meals,
Just to be clear for those two also, we're not suggesting that you should increase your rate of loss going into Christmas so that you can account for weight gain at the end of it. Like, we're not saying diet very hard now so you can let loose to make up for it. So it's not like, instead of losing 1 kilo a week, 10, instead of losing 1 a week, lose 2 now so you can gain 4. Like, it's not that. It's saying if you wanted to by the end of December have lost 4 kilos, but you're currently losing 1 a week, you need to increase the rate to maybe 1.5, 3 weeks. Then maintenance. So you've lost the aggregate 4 across the same period.
Yeah, the average works out the same.
Yeah, so we're not trying to lose more to gain more.
Yeah. Probably second asterisk, maybe third or fourth asterisk here, is that if you do gain a bit of weight over Christmas, no one's gonna die. Like, that's okay. Your self-worth doesn't come down to how tight your jeans are fitting. I guess what we're trying to encourage here is that people don't go wild and think the only way to enjoy the Christmas season is to just binge themselves all the way through December.
So we give people some methods to try and control like actual Christmas events or social events, or is there anything else we've missed there with regards to like goal setting or considerations?
No, I don't think so. So
because I think this is the thing people struggle with the most. Let's just assume that people don't have a great control of, like, they don't really understand calorie for calorie what's in food. Some methods. You've been asked to go out for dinner, or you're going for a Christmas lunch or something like that. What are some of the considerations that people should have? We often talk about like method fluidity. Like, so someone might be following a diet, somebody might be macro tracking, somebody might be, eating 2 food groups or palm sizes or something like that.
Being method fluid means knowing what method to choose at what time. So you're going from macro tracking into a foundation diet, or into following a strict diet plan back to macro tracking, depending on what's appropriate at the time. So that's what is meant by method fluidity. Such a big word.
Yeah, fluidity. I have one of my clients on this exact approach even now, who's in Japan. He's just finished a show. So he's in a very sensitive period of time where he's just done extreme dieting, and now he's in Japan for a week.
How good is Japan?
Japan's amazing. It's a food haven. It's a great place, and it could easily get away from you. So he actually has like 3 available methods to use on a daily basis. He can follow a diet if he wants to follow the diet. He can follow a particular diet with a calorie buffer to enjoy 1 meal out of his choice. Or he can follow a diet with an allocated amount of discretionary calories, where he gets to eat whatever he wants for those discretionary calories per day.
So he's got like 500 calories to spend on whatever he wants.
Yeah, so like there's full control, moderate control, and then there's control with free meal. And he basically is deciding...
All free calories. Not a free meal. Is it?
It's a free meal whereby he doesn't have to worry about tracking it or accounting for the calories. We put a buffer there,
so
that he doesn't gain exponentially.
So the other meals are lower in calories to allow for that.
And it's giving him the mental freedom to decide, I would like to do this today. And that was exactly it. He actually had eaten 2 meals today, and he walked past the place and said to me, "Hey man, I just saw this place. It looks great. Should I go here for dinner?" I went, "If you do this approach, you can." And he was like, amazing.
Love it.
So he has the ability to be fluid.
Yeah, that's great. Some of the methods that are helpful for people, kind of always, but definitely over the Christmas period as well. Let's unpack them more. So I think we all know what macro tracking is. I probably won't bore you with the details of that, but that could be helpful for some people. Not being too anal with macro tracking, because when you're eating out, you kind of can't be. You don't want to bring your scales to a group event and pull your meal apart into individual ingredients and weigh them and then put in, this much rice, this much sultanas. Like, don't do that to yourself.
Yeah, being close enough is better than not knowing it all.
Yeah, I would do things. So if you're macro tracking, I would do things like, if you're having cake or biscuits or whatever, just the Woolies website, even the Coles website, you can just put in like chocolate cookies and just see what the calories are per 100 grams. And just use those calories. Or if you're eating cake, like go to the Coles or Woolies website and they have mud cake, and just see what the macros of that is, and use, like, it might not be identical, but all cake is eggs and butter and flour. Like, it's going to be close enough.
And even then, the major change between most recipes is just a redistribution of fat and carbs. But the calories are almost always the same.
Yeah, within like 10%.
Yeah.
Yeah, they really are. So don't be too anal if you're a macro tracker. I would also say don't get to the end of the day and trying to remember what you ate and then put it in, because like what's the point? Because you're just eating what you've eaten, right? You want to be, okay, I think this is what I want to eat, put it in, make sure it more or less fits, so you're saving yourself enough for later. So do it first. Any other tips for macro trackers? Maybe don't go for only what's palatable. Also understand like what's filling, what foods are triggering for you.
Yeah, just because you do have the option of getting the most delicious item doesn't mean that you necessarily should, because part of your personal preferences isn't just about flavor, but also about fullness.
How it makes
and
you
like,
feel.
I know for me, like most of the time, I'd rather eat a 7 out of 10 delicious, but a 10 out of 10 fullness than I would go the other way around.
Right.
Because I just know that a 7 out of 10 is tasty enough. A 10 out of 10 is delicious, but it also means I want a lot of it.
Exactly why I eat dark chocolate and not milk chocolate. Because if I eat milk chocolate, I'm just thinking about it all day. It was so yum.
Yeah. And also knowing your personal preferences too, as to like when you're best suited to having the higher calorie allotment. If you are going to like predetermine what you're going to have. So like, for example, you said like go in and track it early. Like if you're a heavy breakfast eater, know that that is the case, and you're going to have to like pull the reins in a little bit more at night. If you're like me and you'd prefer to have more calories before bed, then know that you have to obviously then think about that and forward think your breakfast has to be lower calories too.
Well, neither Dean or I are breakfast people. Like we couldn't really care less.
Breakfast salad is lame.
Nah. But maybe you feel differently. So what we do is when we're deciding we're eating out today, we much prefer dinner. So we're not going to go out for breakfast because like it's so hard to get a high protein, low calorie breakfast out. We'll have like egg whites and veg at home, or a protein shake and fruit, or something like that.
Yeah, or even when we've gone and trained and then gone out for the day, you and I almost always will just go to the supermarket, get half a kilo of yogurt. Well, I get a half kilo, you don't.
Or we'll share a barbecue chicken and get a bag of salad or something like that.
So we keep the AM light.
Yeah, just because it's a holiday season or you're on a holiday doesn't mean every meal has to be.
Yeah, so plenty of things there for a macro tracker. Other things that we have for individuals would be
like another method. Foundation diet.
Yeah, it would work.
So a foundation diet is when somebody sets a foundation of their diet, which means you more or less have a schedule of when you're eating. 9 a.m., 1 p.m., 6 p.m., something like that. And that can be fluid within an hour, so you want to be eating half an hour either before or after that anchor point. It would also mean that the anatomy of your plate more or less looks the same. There's about, X amount of protein, maybe the size and thickness of your palm. We want to have like 2 fist sizes worth of vegetables. Maybe there's some fruit in there as well. A serving of carbohydrates, like a cupped handful worth of carbohydrates, and a thumb's worth of fats. And it's really easy to be portion controlled when you have measurements like that. It's really easy for that food to be filling when you're always choosing fibrous foods like vegetables and potatoes for your carbs and things like that. And it's really hard to go over with your calories when you're eating enough food to keep you full and you're eating regularly enough that you never begin a meal when you're absolutely starving. And there's a lot of flexibility within that. You can choose whatever protein you feel like at the time, whatever fats you feel like at the time, whatever carbs, whatever fruits. And you could do that at a Christmas lunch as well. Let's say there's a buffet table full of food. You're like, what do I want to choose for my carbs? I'm going to omit putting extra fats in there because this potato salad was full of mayonnaise. So that'll count as my fats as well.
Or just setting the plate up similarly. Like for me, like
vegetables first.
I put this on my story the other day. I really, really felt like cereal on my yogurt breakfast. We just said how we're low calorie eaters for breakfast, right? I pretty much don't ever add fats or carbs to my breakfast. It's always just fruit, vegetables, and meat or eggs. And I was like, I really want some cereal, and I really would love some almond butter on that. But I know if I do that, I'm going to have to give up calories later on. So I put a tablespoon of cereal on my yogurt, and then a teaspoon of almond butter on the cereal, and then I left it to the side. So like I really wanted that bite, but I just left it to the side. So like Christmas, I would do this similarly. I'd fill my plate up with like roast chicken. I'd then fill it up with a bunch of veggies, like cruciferous veggies or non-cruciferous, non-starch veggies. And then I'm like, I love roast potatoes, but I'm going to have 3 of them instead of filling up half my plate with 10 of them.
Right.
So you can portion the plate so that you still get all the things you want, but you just don't have the maximum amount of them. So I know that if I slowly go through the vegetables and the meat, I feel relatively full. I take my time. When I get to the potato and I eat it, I'm just like, that was delicious, and I'm also full. Fantastic.
I could think of that as maybe like good behaviors by addition, not by restriction. So you're adding good things to your plate. You're not putting it there and being like, oh, I should take it away. There's just the more hyper palatable or calorie dense things, there's just less room for them once you add things that
fill
you
the thing up with
prioritize.
what you need, and then add the extras that can fit on that plate.
Yeah, absolutely.
And obviously don't get yourself a serving platter for 6.
Yeah.
One we did mention before for macro trackers actually would be just to consider a redistribution of macros and just go to protein and calories for certain days where you know maybe fats are going to be slightly higher. So you don't have to hit specific targets. Protein calories will make the biggest impact on your physique. So
yeah, for sure. Okay, so maybe like a couple of other approaches or methods before we wrap it up with how to approach unsupported people at Christmas. All been there. Don't have a family would be the first tip in how to approach.
It's a positive after all.
There is a positive. No, would be I have clients who tell me that the hard part for them is they make good choices leading up to a Christmas lunch. They're really proud of their choices during the Christmas lunch, but then they're all sitting around a table or a pool or something like that, and the snacks are there and they're just picking. And by the end of the night, they're like, oh my God, I've at least tripled what I ate in my meal. I wasn't even hungry. It's just the food was there and I was picking. So a couple of tips is chewing gum can be really helpful to kind of intuitively not pick.
Yeah, mint and nuts doesn't go together.
Or oranges, or like it's just not very nice to eat food when you've got gum in your mouth.
Yeah.
Sipping on like a diet soft drink keeps you kind of occupied and busy. Choosing the right things. Have the celery sticks and low-fat hummus, like big deal. Maybe just don't snack on the rocky road, or I don't know, what do people have at Christmas?
Yeah, maybe we're just too good at it now. We don't know. No, but that's true. Like, there's always generally like even things as simple that appear like the whole health halo effect we've spoken about a lot too, like nuts and dried fruit sitting in the middle of the table. Like, don't go for those because they're so calorific.
They're like 60 to 70%
You can just know that you can have a very small portion of them.
For a calorie allotment. Yeah.
So like even for like we're lucky, and whenever we've had a family Christmas, usually my mum does do up a lot of like fresh fruit and stuff like that too. So that is the things that I'm going to fill up on: fresh fruit, celery sticks, carrot sticks, low fat hummus, and then I'm going to consider the additions after that, similar to my plate.
Yeah, I mean,
and may I just say, like, this is coming from somebody who's somewhere between 90 and 100 kilos, and I'm making these choices for me at my weight, knowing that I have a 3,500 or 4,500 calorie allotment. Like, I'm still doing these things as a larger human, and yet we'll see 50 and 60 kilo individuals doing the opposing of the opposite.
Right, and they gain fat on about half the amount of calories that somebody at Dean's weight would gain weight on. So,
point being is the consideration is there for everyone. Another one we've spoken about plenty in other times would be preloading before you go to Christmas. So considering having either just a large salad and or a high protein, low fat, a
protein shake, a chicken salad, something, an apple.
Yeah, protein, fruit, protein, veggies, or just veggies and fruit before you go, so you don't go there hungry is a good idea.
I think we've all gone to a meal or supermarket shopping or something feeling absolutely starving, and before you know it, your trolley is full to the brim, or you've ordered 2 mains or something like that. And it's much easier to make sensible decisions when you're only a little bit hungry or you're not hungry at all. So that's why preloading is such a helpful tactic, and I think probably overlooked and undervalued because it is so simple. But that doesn't mean that it's not what's what I'm looking for, like helpful. It has a really strong impact, even though it's just an apple, even though it's just a protein shake. But it's
massively.
Yeah.
We all know what it's like when you start eating when you're hungry. It's very different than when you're full. Another one I like, because I have you, is to find a friend to share with.
Oh, we always share.
I really like cheesecake, but I don't always want to have a full slice. And I'm sure you're the same. So we often share a slice. And it just means that we can have the things that we really enjoy, but we do it in a portion controlled manner. And then again, I'm the 90 kilo, you're the 60 kilo. Generally, Liz gets about 40% of it, and I get about 60% of it.
Because my energy needs are lower than Dean's. So even though it might not be equal, it's kind of quote unquote fair in the sense that he's got more calories in the day he can eat before weight gain occurs. I've got less. So therefore, we shouldn't be going 50-50 in a cheesecake. It doesn't really make sense.
It also eradicates the necessity to try and lean into your willpower to only eat half a slice
and leave the other half. Yeah,
because a lot of people do struggle to say, I'm only going to eat what I would like and what I need or what I'm satisfied to versus what I have on my plate.
Yeah, I also don't really like wasting food.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're moving on to navigating shitty people.
Yeah, let's navigate the shit people.
Okay. Probably quick introduction is that we might have really good intentions, we might have strong willpower, we might have great plans and methods in place, and we go there and your auntie just won't stop fucking badgering you about eating her brownies. Like, bro, I got it. You cook these by hand, you think they're amazing, I don't want your damn brownies. But she keeps pushing, and eventually you're like, okay, give me the brownie. Those people do it for all sorts of reasons. Because they think you look fantastic as you are and just don't understand your goals or what you're trying to do, even if it's just to do with weight and health and balance, nothing to do with weight at all. They just don't understand. Maybe they feel, maybe you come from a WOG family and rejecting food is seen as a sign of rejecting them in some cultures.
Disrespectful.
So disrespectful. Maybe they feel bad about
their own snacking?
Like their own behaviors, and they think, well, if everyone's doing it and they're trying to feel better by breaking you. I don't know. People have their reasons, but whatever it is, there are unhelpful people. And there's also some people whose unhelpfulness has a greater impact on you. So for the people around you that you feel are unsupportive and have a really big impact on you, it could be worth sitting them down, explaining how they can support you and how important their support is to you. You make them feel important and informed in the process. There's not this friction in the relationship anymore. You can just go about things nicely. Yeah. But you obviously can't have this conversation with everyone. Not everyone you have this conversation with is going to respond in a way that you want. Therefore, plan B could be telling a white lie. And I did sit down with Jesus. He said it's cool. The white lie could just be something like, those brownies look really great, but I'm full right now. Or, excellent, I can't wait to try them, but I'll try them soon. Or I don't know, what else have you got? White lies. I often will do I may grab some of that for myself later. Okay.
So that I'm taking ownership of when I would like it.
Don't ask me again.
Or if we're in the instance of, we were talking before about plate planning, I'll usually I might have some more of this chicken and veggies. I really like it. And then I might grab some of that later as well. Because most of the time when people are serving out desserts, they all eat them and then they forget about them.
Yeah.
So then it gives me the opportunity to go back after the fact and decide how much I want, what I want, if I want it.
Yeah.
And maybe I am still hungry and I've decided, like we talked about before, to put more protein and plants in my gob first before I go for 2 pieces of cheesecake as opposed to 1.
For sure. I think whatever the white lie is, it doesn't really matter whatever comes out, but whatever gets the job done. It could be I don't really feel like it right now. Maybe later.
Yeah, I mean, you can literally just say no thanks.
Unsupportive asshole.
Yeah, you can just say no thank you. I would not. No, I'm fine, thank you. It's usually met with the come on. So you need to try and find something that somewhat shuts down the follow up.
Yeah, usually honesty is what leads to that. Being like, oh, I'd love to. That looks so great, but I'm trying to eat less of that. That is what leads to, oh, really? But it's Christmas. But you look so fantastic. Stop it, Karen.
Well, it was actually Cindy who did it to me.
Was it?
Do you remember?
No.
She's like, oh, are you dieting? Yes, I've got a bodybuilding show. It's like, oh, you already look great though. And I'm like, thank you. Come on, take your shirt off. Remember?
I actually do. This is at your auntie's pool.
Yeah. And then my cousin's girlfriend went full blown on it. Was like, he ain't a piece of meat.
Leave him alone.
Yeah, I was like, yes, this is awesome. But this is what it feels like to be a woman, you know?
Objectified, Dean. You're objectified. Okay, so navigating people, quick summary on that part is sit the important people down and tell them how they can support you and how important their support is to you. Plan B, tell a white lie if it doesn't work out, or for the people that you're not having that sit down chat to. Maybe have some white lies stored up so that it can come out and feel natural at the time, and you're not balking.
You need to be confident. You can't balk, because if you balk, they're going to sense hesitation.
I don't feel like it.
They're going to see you're a victim. They're going to go, I'm going to get this person.
Exactly.
I'm going to prey on this.
This is an injured little animal.
I am a predator, and I will feed this little animal. Yeah. Absolutely, they're good.
Okay, so guys, Merry freaking Christmas. Ho, ho, ho. I hope Santa brings you something wonderful. We still have, when is this podcast coming out? Beginning of December-ish. So we'll still have a podcast, maybe 2 before actual Christmas hits. So we will talk to you then. Of course, like, subscribe, share, 5-star review.
But before
we leave, I'm so sorry.
We have some tips. No, we've given heaps of tips.
We've got a little segment.
Well, I mean, I suppose the be less shit tip here, pretty straightforward because we've kind of given them all. Just do what we said for the rest of it.
Do what we said.
No. What was your be less shit tip?
Probably that not every meal has to be a party. You can enjoy meals that are sensible and just has like a small portion of something absolutely delicious on the side or at the end. And that's not a failure at all. That's what balance looks like.
Yep.
That's probably my tip.
Something worth sharing, completely topic unrelated.
Okay.
This was something that I had considered trying, but the name bothered me. I had one client try it and it was a little slow, but I've spoken to a colleague, not a colleague, colleague? What do you call it? An acquaintance of mine, and he's been using it. It's very good, and that is.
Suspense is building thing. Tell me what it is.
The website is called Roid Safe. Okay. Yes, Roid Safe. Now you know why I didn't like the name. But basically, they're like an intermediate party that helps give you a pathology referral for anybody who's looking for comprehensive blood work in Australia specifically for a reasonable price. Okay. I believe the price is about 55 Australian. It includes all of the things you need to look at the metrics of blood panel that you want to look at, plus hormonal profiles. Normally, it would set you back like 150 to 200, so it's significantly cheaper.
Dirhams?
No,
Moroccan dirhams?
Australian dollars, AUD. So yeah, just go to Roid Safe, Google Roid Safe. It's on there. It's pretty straightforward. Do note that they are intermediary there. So you basically will get given your results, I believe, through the app, and then that you can accumulate them over there at time.
And that might be a problem because people don't know how to interpret results.
Yeah. I take no responsibility for their customer service or anything. This is not even a paid ad or anything. I just know it's cheaper, and some people really struggle with the cost of bloods. And I'd much rather you have a service that isn't, say, the best ever, and it be available to you at a cost that is affordable than not the other way around. So usually I use iMedical just as a reference. Incredibly professional, similar in their intermediary between you, the pathology, and the bloods. Okay. But the minimum cost is 83. If you get hormones, you're up around 150 to 250. So it is significantly more expensive. This is 55.
Oh.
And it gives you all of the top.
Oh, incredible.
So the $200 test is $55 on this, basically.
The $200
test on like iMedical
is 55 here.
It's a quarter of the price.
Gotcha.
iMedical, you get your results back within 24 hours. It's very quick.
And the reason people are doing this, correct me if I'm wrong, aren't getting it for free through Medicare, through like a GP referral, is because GPs often will just refuse the blood tests.
Yeah, they're only interested in helping you out for your health if you are addicted to methamphetamines. But if you use steroids, you're a bad person.
And you're not allowed to get medical treatment. Okay. Yeah. No, not really treatment, but like stay on top of your bloods to make sure that you are not.
You're not allowed to take a proactive approach to your health.
Okay.
You have to wait till you're dying, and then they'll be interested in helping you out.
Got it.
Thanks, Australia. So yeah.
Okay.
Roid Safe. I'm not sure it's .com or .com.au, but we'll put it in the show notes.
Just Google it, mate.
Last but not least, Liz, we have a Would You Rather. I'm not as good at them as you are.
No one's as good at Would You Rathers.
But
I was thinking the other day, people don't often think about, what are the things I like about myself? Well, I like to do that often. And one of them is that I'm so good at making up Would You Rathers.
We had some absolute pearls in Milan. Shout out to Jake and Joppo and Sim, because there was some pearls.
I spent about 2 days asking them ridiculous Would You Rathers, and never once did they obviously seem to get sick of it.
Yeah.
Probably bitched about me behind my back, like, can she fucking stop with the Would You Rathers? But not to my face.
But they were only personally relevant, so I can't really go down the route that you took on those. There was lots of routes, though, that you took, and also in your drone.
I was going to make a route joke.
All right, so in light of where we are, guys, we are in Morocco, as we said. They do provide fries with lots of meals here, but they're not very good fries.
They're soggy half.
Liz loves a fry. As we know, I have fries on my wedding ring finger for you.
Tattooed. Yeah, you do.
So my question is, also knowing that you don't like to mix foods as much as what I do.
Okay.
Would you rather never eat fries again, or
the other one.
Only be able to eat fries if you had to dip them in a milkshake?
Some people think that that's a good combination of foods.
I know, this is why I'm asking.
I strongly disagree.
Have you tried it?
that food combination. Yeah, when I was a kid, my
McDonald's.
grandma used to dip Macca's chips into like a 30-cent cone, which I found out about 2 years ago when Ruben was passing away, that they are in fact not 30 cents anymore.
No.
Because we had a little bit of warning, like a few hours warning, we had to put him down. So we were like, let's give him the best feast ever. Went to McDonald's. Hey, can I have a 30-cent cone? They're like, they're $1.
Yeah.
Holy, that's how long it's been since.
And
I've
then he
eaten anything.
vomited it up.
And then he threw it up.
Yeah. So no fries or fries with cheese?
I think that subpar fries are better than no fries at all. So I'm going chips in a milkshake.
I reckon it might be right.
Yeah, no,
Salty and sweet's good.
it's not. That's my choice. All right, guys. So back to what I said before I forgot that we had these wrap-up segments. Like, subscribe, 5-star review, share with a friend. Thanks for listening. Merry fucking Christmas. We will see you in the next episode.
Arrivederci.